Good day everyone, I'm Jicel D. Hortilano and today let's talk about the rules of softball. First, sorry. So, rule number 1. First is altered bat. So, altered bat, ito yung bat na ginagamit sa laro. Meron itong iba't ibang klase ng paghawak, meron iba't ibang parts. So, nakadepende yon sa paggamit. Then, ang altered bat is parang ginrevise siya na uri ng bat. Hindi siya yung typical na ginagamit sa laro. So, para siyang DIY, ganun. Appeal play is play or situation on which an umpire cannot make a decision. So, nag-occur lang ito kapag was ng umpire, hindi makamake ng decision. So, maraming process ang pwedeng mangyari kapag nangyari ito. Next, ball comprehension. Ball comprehension is the load force kilograms required to compress a softball 6.5 mm and 0.25 inches. So, ang ball comprehension, ito yung parang average size and kilo ng bola na dapat gagamitin. So, ball core is yung or COR is yung testing. Kumbaga, bago ginagamit ang isang bagay sa laro, dapat tinetest mo na ito. Then, baseline. Alam na natin, ang baseline, ito yung mga linya na ginatakbuhan ng player sa laro. Sorry. So, base on balls. A base on balls occurs when 4 pitches are judged by the plate umpire to be balls, including illegal pitches. So, base on balls ang tawag doon kapag once na apat na na pitch na tapos hindi pa rin natatamaan ng ng player. Ang magbabat ka nun. Tapos base bat. A bat is the direct line between the base and the runner's position at the time of defensive player is attempting or about to attempt to tag a runner. Then, batted ball. A ball is any ball that hits the bat. So, kahit anong bola, batted ball na siya kapag once na natamaan na ng bola, syempre tapos na. And batter, ito yung player na naglalaro na nandoon sa place kung saan magbabat. And batter's box, ito yung place kung saan lang dapat magbabat ang isang player. Hindi siya pwedeng magbat kung saan, nandun sa field or dun sa may area ng pag-warm up nila. So, yung place na yun is specific lang siya for batting. Then, kapag ang player nandoon, so, siya yung tinatawag na batter. Next. Batter runner. So, ito yung mga player na nakapag-bat na. So, doon na sila, nagtatakbo na sila sa baseline. Then, batting order. Ang batting order, nakadepende ito sa listing ng mga players. Hindi to basta-basta na lang, oy, ikaw na, kay pagod pa ako. Ganun. Dapat may pagkasunod-sunod. So, block ball. A block ball is a batted, thrown, or pitch ball. So, basta kapag once na ang bola ay pag bat ng batter tapos parang palso siya. So, tinatawag yun siya na black ball. So, next is bunt. A bunt is a batted ball not swung at bat intentionally met with the bat and tapped slowly within the playing field. So, bunt ang tinatawag kapag once na hindi sinasadya ng batter na matamaan yung bola. Then, catch. A catch is a legally caught ball, which occurs when the fielder catches a batted or thrown ball with his hands or gloves. So, di ba kapag once na mga bola, pag nabat na minsan, or lilipad or nag-bounce, then minsan tinatapon siya ng mga, ng mga kasama nila. So, yung process ng pag-catch nila gamit ang glove, yun yung tinatawag na catch. Next, catcher's box. The catcher's box is the area within which the catcher must remain until, example, the pitch is released. Kapag once na na-release na yung pitcher yung bola, so, kapag once na-release na ng pitcher ang bola, so, yung mga catchers is pwede nang mag-move within the catcher's box. Pwede na silang mag-shuffle kasi before yung dapat ma-release ang bola, dapat nakastay lang sila kung saan yung position nila. So, charge conference. A A charge conference takes place when, example, offensive conference. Kapag once na nakagawa ka ng mali, ganon. So, charge conference yun sa. Next is chopped ball. A chopped hit ball is one that which the batter strikes downward with a chopping motion of the bat so that the ball bounces high in the air. So, kapag once na gibat niya, parang pagbat niya simula, pag ganyan, galing sa baba pataas. So, mali. Ayun yung ginatawag na chop ball. Parang ginpalo niya talaga, intentional na pinalo niya simula sa baba para mapumunta sa taas. Then, coach. Alam naman natin, yung coach is nag-lead sa team. Maliban sa mga team leader, sila yung nag-disiplina sa atin, nag-guide sa atin as a group or as a player. Then, crow hop rather. A crow hop is defined as the act of pitcher who does not push off the pitcher's plate to deliver the ball. Next, dead ball. A dead ball is one that example lang the umpire has ruled dead. Next, defensive team. The defensive team is the team in the field. So, kapag once na yung team, sila yung pitchers, sila yung nag-catch, o yung mga nandoon na naghahabol sa mga naglalaro, sila yung defensive team. So, magde-defend pa muna sila na makascore yung kabilang team. Delayed dead ball. A delayed dead ball is game situation in which the ball remains alive until the conclusion of the game. And designated player. Example of designated player is a starting offensive player who bats the line up for the flex player listed the 10th, pang-10 position on the line up card. So, designated player ang tawag doon sa, diba, dapat may listing, sino yung pang-10, siya yung designated player. Then, dislodge base. A dislodge base is a base displaced from its proper position. Kapag once na ang base, meron siyang 4 na base, diba? 1, 2, 3, 4. Parang square. Kapag once na nalis yung isang base doon, so, yun yung tinatawag na dislodge base or yung na-move siya. So, proceed tayo sa double play. A double play is a play by the defense in which two offensive players are legally put out as a result of continuous action. Then, dugout. The dugout is an area in dead ball territory designated for players, coaches, the bat boys or girls, and official representatives of the teams only. So, ito yung parang safe place ng mga players and coaches and etc. Ejection from the game. Ejection is the act of any umpire ordering a player, official, or any team member to leave the game and the grounds for a rule violation. So, kapag once na may na-violate, so, ina-eject na siya. Usually, ginagamit yung term na DQ or disqualified. And fair ball. A fair ball is legally batted ball, which example is isa sa mga example ka is settles or is touch on or over fair territory between home and first base or between home and third base. So, fair ball ang ginatawag doon kapag once na may mga rules na sinusunod dito sa fair ball. Then, fair territory. Fair territory is that part of the playing field within and including the first and third base foul lines from home base to the bottom of the extreme playing field, fence, and perpendicular upwards. Fake tag. A fake tag is a form of obstruction on a runner while advancing and returning to the base by a fielder who is not in possession of the ball that impedes the progress of the runner. So, fake tag tinatawag doon kasi diba ang tag is yan yung part na ginahawakan ng defensive team ang bola, then tag yung kapag i-hit nila or tama nila yung ball sa nagalaro na player. Then, fake tag kapag once na meron yung parang nagalito-lito lang pero hindi siya pwedeng maka-receive ng bola or hindi siya pwedeng tapunan ng bola. Next is fielder. A fielder is any defensive player on a team on the field. So, fielder is yung di ba may defensive team, sila yung mga nagasalo ng mga ginabat ka na yung mga pitcher. So, meron silang fielder, ito yung isang tao na pwedeng mag-ikot-ikot kahit saan kasi ang iba naka-assign lang sila sa designated area. Designated areas. Then, fly ball is yung literal na nagalipad yung bola, gibat siya. Gibat or tinapon. That is the fly ball. Next is flex player. The flex player is the starting player for whom the designated player is batting and whose name appears on the 10th position on the lineup. So, flex player is sampung nakalista na pangalan. Siya yung pinakauna. Siya yung pinakaunang lalaro. Force out. A force out is an out which can be made only when a runner loses the right to the base which he is occupying because the batter becomes a batter runner and before the batter runner and succeeding runner has been put out. So, kapag once na yung nagasalo, nauna nakatama sa base, so, yung player na nagtakbo, ma-force out siya. So, out na siya. Alis na siya sa laro. Then, ayan, yun na yung mga kasama niya. Then, forfeit. A forfeit is an act of a plate umpire ruling that the game is over by declaring a non-offending team the winner. And foul ball. A foul ball is a legally batted ball which example nito is settles a foul territory between home and first base and between home and third base. Then, foul territory. Foul territory is any part of the playing field that is not included in fair territory. Then, so, ang field is nahati. Foul tip. A foul tip is a batted ball which, example, goes directly from the bat and catcher's hands. So, kunwari, nag-pitch ang pitcher. Pag-bat ng player, nasalo ng defensive team. So, yun yung tinatawag na foul tip. So, out na yung player na nag-bat. Helmet. So, ang helmet, ginagamit ito ng nag-pitch and magbabat kasi for security purpose. Para hindi matama ng bola, ganun. Home team. The home team is a team on whose grounds the game is placed. Home team ang ginatawag doon kapag maka-home yung apat na, di ba, pagbat niya na abot niya yung naikot niya yung mga bases. Then, illegal bat. An illegal bat is one that does not meet the requirements of Rule 3, Section 1. So, papag-usapan yun mamaya. Illegal extra player. An illegal extra player is one who violates any of the provisions of nasa Rule 4 yan siya, Section 6. So, papag-usapan yan siya next. Then, illegal pitcher. An illegal pitcher is a player illegally in the game, but one who may not pitch as a result of, example, being removed from the pitching position but the umpire as a result of the defensive charge conference limit being exceeded. And illegal player. An illegal player is a player, example, a player who takes position in the lineup either on offense or defense, who has not reported to the plate umpire. So, dapat ang mga player kapag may mga pagpabagong decisions, dapat sabihin nila sa umpire, maghingi sila ng dapat aproba ng umpire. Tapos kapag once na hindi nila nasabi or hindi nila na-inform ang umpire, so that will fall into illegal player. Next is illegal re-enter. Illegal re-enter occurs when, example, a starting player returns to the game and second time after twice being substituted. Illegal substitute. An illegal substitute is a player who has entered the game without being announced to the umpire. He may be, example, substitute who has not previously been in the game. So, alam na natin ang substitute is hindi siya kasali sa game tapos bigla lang papasok kasi para mag-sub doon sa player na hindi makakaya or walang kakayahang gawin ang laro. Then, illegally batted ball. An illegally batted ball occurs when the batter hits the ball, fair or foul. Example, while his entire foot is completely out of the batter's box on the ground when he makes contact with the ball. Illegally caught ball. An illegally caught ball occurs when a fielder catches a batted, thrown, or pitched ball with his cap, mask, glove, or any part of his uniform while it is detached from a proper place. An illegal player. An eligible player, rather, sorry. An eligible player is a player who may no longer legally participate in the game because the umpire has removed him. So, kapag once na nadikyo ka na, ang tawag sa'yo is ineligible player. Next, an eligible replacement player. An eligible replacement player is a player who may not enter the game to replace a player who must leave the game to attend to an injury that has caused being bleeding. So, yung replacement player na to, nakakapasok lang siya sa laro kapag once na valid ang reason ng player na nag-alis. Then, in flight. In flight, describing any batted, thrown, or pitched ball that has not yet touched the ground for some object other than a fielder. Then, infield. Infield is that portion of the field, fair territory that includes area normally covered by infielders. So, ito yung field. Yung pasok sa field. Infielder. An infielder is a defensive player, including the pitcher and catcher, who is generally positioned anywhere near within the lines and base path forming territory. Infielder ang tawag doon sa mga nag-defensive team. Infield fly. An infield fly is a fair fly ball, not including the line drive or attempted bunt, that can be caught by an infielder with ordinary effort when first and second. Inning. An inning is that portion of the game within which the teams alternate on offense or defense, and in which there are 3 outs of each team. Intentional base on balls. Unintentional base on balls occurs when the defensive team desires to place the batter on first base without the requirements of deliver 4 pitch balls, and intentionally dropped fly ball. An intentionally dropped fly ball is a fair fly ball including the line drive and or a bunt. Interference. Interference is the act of example, an offensive player or team member that impedes, hinders, or confuses a defensive player attempting to execute the play. And leaping. Leaping is the act of pitcher that causes him to airborne on his initial move and push from the pitcher's plate. Legal touch or tag. A legal touch or tag is an action of fielder touching. So, mga fielder, yung catcher and yung pitcher, kapag once naging tap na nila yung player, yung nagalaro, yung batter, so, yun yung legal touch. Legally caught ball. A legally caught ball occurs when a fielder catches a batted, thrown, or pitched ball, provided it's not caught in the field's cap, helmet, mask, protector, pocket, or other parts of his uniform. It must be caught and firmly held in the hands or glove. So, dapat kamay lang talaga ang gagamitin. Hindi pwedeng any parts of the body. Line drive. A line drive is a ball flight that is batted sharply and directly into the playing field. Lineup and lineup card. A lineup card is a list of players. Alam naman natin ito. Lineup dapat nakasunod-sunod yung yung pagkalista, yung sequence ng pagkalista ng mga pangalan. Yun yung maging sunod-sunod sa pag-enter nila sa laro. So, that's the lineup or lineup card. Obstruction. Obstruction is an act of something. Offensive player only. An offensive player only is a player in the batting order and other than the flex for whom the DP is playing defensive. Then defensive team. The defensive team is the team at bat. So defensive team ang tawag kapag offensive. Sorry. Offensive team ang tawag kapag sila yung galaro. So defensive team pala yung nasa field. Official equipment. Official equipment is considered to be equipment like ito yung mga bats, gloves, helmet, and etc. Ganun. In current use by the defensive or offensive team in course of play. On-deck batter. On-deck batter is the offensive player whose name follows the name of other in the batting order. Kapag once na may nagabat doon, tapos ikaw yung susunod na mag-bat, so ang tawag si on-deck batter. So, On-deck circle. The on-deck circle is the area where the on-deck batter are warm up. Okay, so may part na nag-warm up sila. Ito yung on-deck circle kasi meron ditong mga bat and ball din na pwede nilang gagamitin. 1 meter. The 1 meter or slash 3 foot in line area last half distance between home and first base where the batter runner must run and avoid being called out from interfering with the thrown ball from the home plate or the fielder's attempt to take such throw while running for the first base. Sorry. Option play. An option play is a play in which the offensive coach manager is given the choice of taking the enforcement of the legal action or the result of the play. Then outfield. The outfield is that portion of the field that is outside and diamond forced by baselines and or the area not normally covered by an infielder and within the 4 lines beyond first and third base and the boundaries of the grounds. Overslide is an act of offensive player when the runner he overslides in the base and he attempting to reach. Next, passed ball. Passed ball is a pitch that should have been held controlled by a catcher or ordinary effort. Passed ball kapag once na tinapon ng catcher yung ball. Then, para sa kasama nila. Overthrow. An overthrow is a play which the ball is thrown from one fielder to another. And pitch. A pitch is the act of performing with the pitcher delivering the ball to the batter. Pitcher yung parang tumatapon ng bola ng mabilis para ma-hit siya ng maayos ng batter. Sila yung usually nasa gitna. Not usually. Sila talaga yung nasa gitna. Pitcher circle. So, ito yung part lang na dapat pitcher lang ang nandoon para makaperform siya maayos sa pag-pitch niya. Pivot foot is yun yung ginagawa ng pitcher. Then, play ball is a team use the plate umpire and indicate that the play shall begin and resume when the pitcher holds the ball. Pre-game meeting. The pre-game meeting is a meeting held in the home plate area at a predetermined time between the umpires and the head coaches, managers, and teams representatives for their respective teams. Then, protest. A protest is ginagamit ito kapag once na napansin nila ang kalaban is meron mga offensive na mga ginagawa. Ganon. So, kailangan lang mag-protest. Quick return pitch. Quick return pitch is one made by the pitcher with the obvious attempt to catch the batter off balance. This would be before the batter takes his desired position in the batter's box or while he is still in the balance in result to the previous pitch. Next, re-entry. Re-entry is the act of any of the starting players returning to the game after being legally or illegally substituted. Then, removal from the game. Removal from the is the act of umpire declaring a player ineligible for further participation in the game other than as a coach or a result of infraction of rules. Replacement player. So, sila yung mga player na pinalitan. Runner, sila yung mga player na nandoon sa field nagatakbo na tapos na nagbat. Squeeze play. Squeeze play is which offensive team is a runner or third base. So, squeeze play ang tawag doon kapag once na, di ba, meron tayong 4 na base. First base is yung nandun magbat, second, third, fourth, then last. So, kapag once na napuno yung 3 base, maliban doon sa magbabat, so that was called squeeze play. Next, strike zone. So, strike zone is that space over any part of the home plate between the batter's armpits and top of his knees when he assumes his natural batting stance. Then substitute is a player listed in the official lineup card. So mga substitute sila yung mga nandun din sa lineup pero hindi sila yung parang priority ng mga players. So sila yung magsa-substitute kapag once na may mga pangit na nangyari or hindi ayang nangyari na hindi kaya ng player na maglaro. So sila yung magpapasok para mag-replace doon. Then, tagging up. Tagging up is an action of runner returning to his base, remaining to his base before illegally. Ito yung mga time na naghahabulan sila ng defensive team pati offensive na player. Then a team member includes a person authorized to sit in the team bench. So, team member kapag once na nandun sa official list. Temporary runner is a player who may run from the catcher off record from preceding half inning is one who on base and two out. Throw is a fielder. Tapos, throw, alam na natin tinatapon ng mga fielder pa sa mga kasama nila parang ginapasa ang bola. Time is used to umpire order suspension play during which the ball is dead. Trapped ball. A trapped ball is example a legally batted fly ball on or line drive that hits the ground and fence prior to being caught. Next, triple play. A triple play is a continuous action play by the defense on which three offensive players are put out. Turn at bat. A turn at bat begins when a player first enters the batter's box and continues until the batter is put out or becomes a batter runner. Then mild pitch. Mild pitch is so high, so low, or so wide. So basta sobra siya sa pagiging natural na pag-pitch. So mild pitch ang tawag. Wild. Then wild throw kapag once na basta nasobrahan din ang pagtapon, that's wild throw. Withdrawn player. Withdrawn player is a player forced to leave the game. So, kapag ang player is merong nagawang di kaya-aya, so, alisin sila, tawag doon, withdrawn player. So, let's proceed. That's all for the rule number 1. So, let's proceed to the rule number 2, which is the playing field. So, let's talk about the field. The playing field is the area within which the ball may be legally played and fielded. Ground or special rules ground or special rules established in limits are the playing field that may be agreed upon the leagues or opposing teams whenever backstops, fences, stands, vehicles, spectators, and other obstructions are within prescribed area. So, ang ground, meron special rules. So, dapat kapag meron siyang gina-check nila kung pumasok ba sa standard ang ground na to bago papalaruan. The official diamond shall have baselines and pitches and distance and set. So, hindi pwedeng pataka ka lang maglagay dyan ng baseline, pataka ka lang dyan measure kapag once na okay na ito kasi ito lang yung makaya ng field natin, yun lang. No, dapat meron talagang exact size. So, diamond layout for a layout of the diamond refer to the drawing showing official dimensions of softball. Merong nasa module appendix 1A. So, merong nakaset talaga na layout diamond ng field. So, let's proceed to the rule number 3, which is the equipment. So, first is the official bat. So, ang bat, alam naman natin na ito yung standard na bat na ginagamit kapag maglaro. Meron itong mga specific parts and proper gripping, gano'n. Then, warm-up bats, ito yung ginagamit doon sa, di ba, meron part doon kanina parang mag-warm up ang next na batter. So, ito yung ginagamit sa part na yun. So, hindi siya totally kasing standard ng pero mas safe siya. The official softball. So, ang mga officials ng softball is dapat shall be regular, smooth, seam, concealed, stitch, and flat surface ball. So, dapat mga safe, lahat ito na check and safe gamitin ng player. Then, gloves and mitts. So, hindi pwedeng papasok ang player na magka-catch kapag wala silang mga gloves, ganon, improper. So, next is shoes. Since natatakbo dito, so dapat secured ang paa. Next is protective equipment like mask. So, katulad ng nung nasa likod ng batter, meron doong naga-catch na defensive team. Meron talaga silang mask kasi minsan, di ba, kapag once na wild ang pagtapon ng pitcher, so pwedeng mapupunta sa mukha nila. So, that's belong to the equipment na siyang magpo-protect sa player. Equipment on playing field. Equipment that is not part of the official equipment shall not be left lying in the playing field in either fair or foul territory. So, dapat ang mga equipment na hindi ka kailanganin sa field, itabi. Kasi since na yung laro na ito is malikot ang mga player kung saan pwedeng pupunta ang bola. So, dapat secure din ng mga player. And uniform, dapat proper ang suot, hindi pwedeng kasuot ka dyan ng bra or something na hindi naman kaya sa laro. So, alisin yun. Bawal ang mga earrings like that. Pwede kasi magkabungguan kayo doon or baka pag natamaan ka ng bola or matusok ka ng mga earrings, kwintas, relo, something. All equipments notwithstanding the foregoing reserves right with the hold, withdraw approval and equipment. So, lahat ng mga equipment na gagamitin sa laro ay dapat na-approve or useful talaga siya para sa laro. Kapag once na unnecessary, move out na yan. So, let's proceed to the rule number 4. The coaches, players, and substitutes. Coaches is the head, is responsible for signing lineup card. So, sila lang yung dapat na mag-sign ng lineup cards. Alam naman natin ang lineup cards, it's yung sequence and the official listing or series ng mga players din. Players is sila yung mga lalaro, yung mga bata or estudyante. Then, sa larong ito, merong 9 players. First is the pitcher, second is the catcher, then first baseman, second baseman, third baseman, shortstop, left fielder, center fielder, and right fielder. So, since that ang sequence na ito is meron ding mga parts ang bawat so meron sila kanya-kanyang role na dapat i-perform or gagawin or execute. So, starting players. A starting player shall be official when the lineup card is inspected and approved by the plate umpire and So, ang lineup card, kapag pinasa ng coach, bago mag-start ang laro, dapat na-check ng umpire. So, kapag na-approve na nila, so, starting player, so mag-start na ganun. Designated players. So, designated players refer to the maybe used battered and defensive player provided and made known prior start game and etc. Then, extra player, sila yung mga next on the list na lang, mga magiging substitute natin kapag once na may something na nangyari sa mga player. Hindi pwedeng dahil lang sa ayaw ng player maglaro, so not considered yun. Dapat merong proper and acceptable reason, like kunwari ma-injure or something, hindi naman sa giniling, pero dapat magsa-substitute lang kapag once na deserve talaga na na makapag-rest yung player na yun. Pero kung once na ayaw niya lang din, may mga player na gano'n, so hindi yun pwede. So, magiging out lang siya gano'n, pero hindi siya pwedeng mag-request ng substitute. So, re-entry, any of the starting players may be substituted and re-enter once provided such players occupy the same batting position whenever they are in lineup. So, kunwari may nalipong sa laro, then, siyempre, alisin mo na siya para makapagpahinga. Then, parang naka-recover na siya. Pwede siyang babalik. Consider lang na dapat kung ano yung role niya, babalik din siya doon. That's the re-entry. Substitutes, illegal player. Substitutes may take place in a player whose name is in his team's lineup. The following regulations govern player substitutes. So, yung mga substitutes, sila yung mga nasa next lang sa lineup. Disputed calls, any team member disputing any judgment decision by an umpire will constitute to the team warning. Any repeat offense shall result to the ejection and team member. Dugout conduct, a coach's player substitutes with other bench personnel shall not be outside the designated dugout area, except when the rules allow when considering. So, ang dugout, alam naman natin ito na ito yung part lang na para makapagpahinga o makapag-stay ang play habang ongoing pa yung laro. So, hindi sila pwedeng alis doon para punta mag-ihi, punta may bilihin, o ganun. So, dapat pagpunta nila sa dugout area nila, so doon lang dapat sila during the duration ng laro. Replacement player. In the event of any player bleeding during the game, that player must withdrawn from the game. Bleeding cannot be stopped within the reasonable length of time. So, sila yung mga player na pwedeng papalit yung mga valid or accepted. Temporary runner. sila yung mga legal for a catcher or record from the previous half inning who is based with two outs. Kapag once na dalawang beses na na-out. Then, violations and penalties, team members shall not make a raging of insulting remarks about the opposing player. So, may mga violations na pwede nating magagawa sa and penalties kapag once na pangit yung mga behavior natin on habang nasa field tayo, pwede tayong ma-take charge as DQ or bibigyan tayo ng mga yellow card, red card that serves as warning. So, that ends my report and thank you for listening. I hope you got something new knowledge and gain something new ideas here. Thank you.